my attempt to make it less dry is that, hey guys, check out the admin interface. It saves you a lot of time. It's something that doesn't require so much knowledge to see some nice admin dashboard, right? To customize, let's recap a little bit. When you get to this, it's easy to build, for two model right here. Generate the resource, admin resource for message and user, right? And the default columns. But to be able to customize these images and stuff, it does require a skill that is the ability to read the docs. And that is down here. This is the default, right? The ability to read the doc is like this. So if you don't do anything, resource users, resource message, you get the nice default table. Not this one, but the one before that. But if you start customizing, then you can change the way the menu looks. You can change the way the table columns are. And you see that either here is one block. This is the one-line function, and this is one-line block, and this is the multi-line block. Definitely play around with it. You can display custom images like that. You can customize the form. This is important for your user form, for example, where the password field need to be customized. So that's yesterday. I think this part alone, just spend a little bit, like half an hour, feeling comfortable with this UI can get you quite far. For the benefit of those who did not do it, or just only do this first part, I'm gonna give you a preview of that, right? You see that there's no need for me to customize anything under messages. This is the default. The left bar is called messages, and then it's using a star. And nothing else I need to customize, right? Can we maybe refresh what it looks like very quickly? Not this one. Uh-oh. Very quickly, Rails server. All right, guys. So very quickly, just to review the the admin interface. You need to know that this star messages, star users, that's the name under the menu. That's over here. That's automatically generated for you when you do Rails generate resource. I don't know, active admin resource something. Now, next is how can you build something like this, right? How can you build this images stuff and you decide what columns to display? You generate this user file and you can do that. So I say the first column is using it's called image URL, but maybe I don't have to call it image URL. I can call it maybe avatar, right? I can even give it the avatar class, which is already defined for me. So if you refresh this, right? That's the avatar class. Now you can always add your own, override your class here, and the CSS is also generated for you under assets, style sheets, Trestle. All right, you can override your own avatar. Understand that so you can use, for example, in this case, another example of custom column. How do we do that custom column? Here I have a gender column, and then if user is male or not male, I just use font awesome again. And by now, font awesome is another knowledge that it's kind of nice that you can just display any icon you want, any size you want, right? Nothing, which is small, 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, okay? And little extra things like some extra formatting that Trestle support you. Here's another interesting example. If you don't customize the form at all, your field will look not usable at all, right? Without this form, it's not usable. Look at all these columns, the default columns, right? How do you add a new user if you're an admin of this organization, you want, so in this case I say, hey, I only want the name, password. Actually, I'm missing the email field, huh? Text field, email, and now you get name, email, so I can add you without asking you to sign up for my website. I can add you to it. I can design custom select box like this. All right, maybe get rid of this updated created ad. Actually, I don't know why those show up. Huh? Oh, yeah, why do I need these two fields? Make no sense. I only keep this here to show that you can, this is using Bootstrap. And you can set up some extra style like this. But really, when you create a new user, these are the fields you want. And that's it. So with this library, train yourself to use the table and form, understand this can if you're at home, spend some time taking a look at this, and it can save you a lot of time building useful things. So the table here, there's a thing called action. Oops. How do you see those actions? Yeah, this is the action there. So depending on the context. But all right. So that's yesterday. For today, any question about yesterday? Today we continue to do tests, and it's very dry, so every day is still a little bit more. So today, we continue with this, but it will be automatic. It will show you what lines of code have you tested in your code base. Can you believe that? Can you believe that Rails can actually tell you, well, here our project can tell you that, oh, you tested this method, you did not test this method. And then you can decide what to test. So that's test coverage, right? This is running tests automatically. So I'm going to show you what it is. CirclCI. Let me see if this is all right. So today you guys have to set up CirclCI. Just go there and sign in with GitHub, and GitHub will find the repository so you can add it. All right, and then with this repository, as you can see that when you push to GitHub, it automatically runs the test for you. For example, I push this one to GitHub right here. You can even click here and see, go to the link. I push a commit to GitHub. Automatically, let's choose that branch so I can show you this one. These are the commits. See this, right? When you push to GitHub, CirclCI automatically run the test in your spec folder. It will run your code online on the cloud. And in this case, I even have it deployed to Heroku. Automatically, everything's automatic. When it runs and pass all the tests here, all the tests pass already, and you can see that on their computer it runs really fast, even faster than your computer because it's the cloud. And you see that if the test pass, you see the little check here, so you know exactly what commit break what test. That's extremely powerful, right? I was basically working on my company product when they came up with this. I was one of the very first tester with the CirclCI guys because it was very early on, and then we were, it's really nice to see like, oh, I want this, can you support this? So GitHub supported this feature. It first worked with Travis CI, the first one, integration, and then CirclCI now kind of take over the world. It's really popular and powerful. So you see that they're quite linked together, right? I click on the check mark, it takes me to the build. So the concept here is you push to GitHub, CirclCI run a build. What is a build? For each time you push to GitHub, it runs a test, and that's called a build. It's like building your code. It will set up a server, and it's like a container, and run the test, everything all good, and it shut it down. So it's not wasting space. Now that computer resource can be used for another person's test. And the beautiful thing is that it's free. If you want faster speed, if you want to run many projects at the same time, then you start paying. If you run your test on a Mac computer in the cloud, then you pay. When do you need that? When you develop iOS apps. When you work on Ruby on Rails, just run on Linux computer on CirclCI. So that's what we're going to do today.
Yep. Slightly off topic question. Just on that website on CirclCI.
Yep.
When you click somewhere, it shows that loading button.
Where?
I think just whatever.
When you click somewhere, so come in.
Yeah, when you were going to a different page here, like it disappeared. Yeah, this thing, this loading button.
Yeah.
How does that work? Is that?
No, this is good. At this point, I think you guys can build a website like this already. You know what elements to put. It's just these little things. It's quite easy. You basically on your the default HTML that you have should just contain that loading thing. That's very easy. That's just an icon, and then you put a spinning on it. So of course it could be a GIF, but nowadays SVGs. That is pretty much SVG, which is the code that generate that loading icon.
I saw that Roma has these loading things.
Yeah, now see this? It's just you can use a GIF or you can use an icon and then put CSS to spin it. Then next, so that's the default HTML. And then you just wait until you have enough data, and then you just change the class name to display your content instead. The reason why many of this is loading like that is, if you notice once again here, that's just one big page, and then I'll try once again. I think for CirclCI they only use one loading button. Okay, two, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if it's only one, it means right now the page is rendered a very simple blank HTML page with that loading thing, and then you see it when the content's already there. Hide. Remove that. It's just use CSS to hide or use jQuery to remove that code. Most likely just hide it. However, if you want multiple loading thing, and then that loading icon is under this container. See this one?
Yeah.
Let's say it's under this container. Then this page actually has the loading icon, and then it uses Ajax to replace the element after the page is loaded. And when we get to the late, in 2 weeks, when a lot of it is JavaScript, you can totally do this. Remember how you render partials? Render message partial, render user partial? What the render partial is doing is the server still render all the users for you, render all the messages for you, all in big HTML file, and then go to the browser, right? You can say render partial asynchronously. It means the server actually is not rendering it. It just put a container that says this div is for the user. You probably can put a spin bar in there if you want, and render to the user. And then when the user see when the page is loaded on the browser, JavaScript now goes back to the server and says, hey, give me the content. The benefit of this is, like Lloyd said, when you have a lot of posts on Facebook newsfeed, you want the hard work of getting the HTML and rendering it done on the browser. The server just gives some basic first data, and the rest of it, while the page is loading, the browser talks to the server to get more information. Does it make sense? Huh? Yeah, this is basically all Ajax. Basically, Ajax is a term for JavaScript talking to the browser in the background. Nowadays, this year itself is more web technologies that we can talk about the service worker stuff, but that's too. I will not cover that in this class.
Talking to the server.
Yes.
Not the browser.
Oh, server. Did I say browser?
Yeah.
Yes, you all were listening. Thank you very much. All right. It happens. Sometimes I see that my page is too slow because the server is trying to render too many partials. So I say, don't render this partial. When the user is looking at this page, then you can render it. Well, you render it slowly, not so, like asynchronously. Asynchronous means doing it at the same time, right? Not waiting. Not synchronous means you sort of A, then B, then C. Asynchronous means A and B and C can be done at the same time, but they don't wait on one another. All right. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Pretty much, it's quite tricky. That's why we learn to think like a programmer is very different from thinking like a user. Thinking like a programmer means you're actually just showing the user a fake HTML. Like if you load on you load your Facebook, right? You come back from into the app, you see all this blank, a few gray images. That's all this fake HTML and sometimes fake images, just so that it makes you think that the thing is almost loaded. The truth is that it's just something for you to see. It has nothing to do with, it just sort of help you feel like you're waiting. It's the same thing with the progress bar. A lot of, the progress bar just slowly going there. You think that, sometimes it's loading, but the truth is a lot of times it's all inaccurate how fast the progress bar is going. It's all just estimated.
Just to make the wait easier.
Yeah, you can make it more accurate, but a lot of times it's bullshit. Like the most bullshit thing is when you install software on Windows. Remember?
Oh, you see.
You just like 5%, 20%, 80%, and just stuck there 80%, or get to 99% and just stuck there forever. Because it's just to give you an idea, sometimes the 99% becomes fast and you feel very good, but some other times it backfires. It's like, should I turn off my computer right now? Should I restart? Is the internet stuck? Like, can I unplug my machine?
So it's
The
like
90% in that case is actually bad.
It's like a programmer's way of just messing with everybody.
Yeah, but it's still nice, right, to give users that. So that is today. Set up the project, right? Let me show you the test coverage. Should I wait for Oscar, or should we show the secret stuff and not let him see it? What do you guys think? No, I think he will be very jealous. Let's see if I can do this. Plug it. Oh no. Alright. Come on. Alright. Let's see, next is what is called test coverage. So you learn this. You will be able to run this coverage tool. You're eating in class, using your cell phone in class. I think this is like 10,000 dong per reminder. I mean, every time you smile, I give you 1,000 dong back. But if you keep eating in class and texting in class, so that's 10,000 dong, okay? Right? Ian's gonna help me collect that 10,000. All right. So this is the second thing that I want you to learn and pay attention to today is the ability to understand what code you are testing. So there's a cool tool called CirclCI, which cover your coverage, cover your test, which show you how much code that you actually test. So I have a few simple ones. Let's see, did I test my controllers? I go in here and say, look, did I test my user's controller? And it actually can tell you that, okay, you actually test, this require login stuff. You did not really test this user create stuff, that kind of thing. It's not super accurate. It's based on when you run the test, it tracks how many times a line of code is run. It's pretty smart. But let's see if I click on this guy, see what tests actually, does it have it? I don't know. Is there more insight than this? let's see my controller test, right? Let me see if it's in there. I guess not. All files spoken to the test. You can search it in here, but yeah, so I think I tested some controllers, but I thought I was going to see some, I thought I could see some actual tests that I wrote, but it doesn't look like so. If you know, let me know, yeah? Now, where is that test? Spec users controller. So I test it like this, right? I'm testing the index action. I say that if you go there, okay, and if you log in, ta-da, right? If you log in, then you should be able to see the whole page display. We good with that? If you go to the page and you're a visitor, this should redirect to the root path because I don't want you to see my users. In fact, here you can check for the, you can actually test, for the flash error message, right? To be, access denied if you want. And here's another thing that if you are a user and you also log in, see that? When you load the page, there are user variables in the controller, right? Controller call this. I'm testing this variable. Right now, I only have the user in this world, so I only have this. But if let's say you have Bob, then right, then here you will have this as Bob. You can actually test. Oh, the controller loads correct data. Does that make sense? And now another thing is so you see how this is so green? That's because I tested and this blue, this green means I run it a few times here. You see this color is darker than this color because I hit the index a few times. I hit the index here, it go inside, right? Success. The whole thing get run. I hit index here, it go inside. This user.all is run and tested. I hit index here, it doesn't even hit this, it hit the require login and then get redirected. So that's the darker green color means it's tested a lot of times, lighter means less, and this red means this does not touch at all, maybe you should test this. Okay? So here to give you an example, if I test this edit action. How do I test it? Let's describe. Here's just a convention how to do it. But let's say edit action. I'm testing this, right? You could test with the visitor not being able to log in. So you can say contact here is visitor non-login, right? Not yet logged in. But I'm going to test this case logged in user. This is just a section. So, but here's my test. Should returns a success response. When you edit a user, what? Can someone maybe just write a test with me here? Someone?
Get.
Yeah, so we're gonna say I'm gonna go to get edit. What is my params? Nothing?
Well, session
This edit, you need params, you need params. Oh, I see. There's no need for user here, huh? It's true. You just edit the current profile. No need. And then session. So now you want this person to be logged in. Okay? Here's one way you can just specify it directly, because I know I will do user.find session user ID. Okay, I need a user, guys. Let's go and drop this and put it down there. This is going to be my Adam. Okay? So user ID will be adam.id. Sounds good? This, because we use this all the time. Do you guys see this? This should, okay, let me see. I use Adam again and again. So I'm going to call this Adam. Adam, all right? and I see that you use it all the time, so you could actually just define let Adam be this user. All right, and you can reuse that. All right, so this is my Adam, and down here when you use Adam, it just automatically works like that. Same with Bob if you want, so no need, so I can reuse Adam. Do you see that? And then you see that sometimes I use this, reuse this session when the user is logged in all the time. You guys see this one? So yesterday we learned that you could write something like valid session. And again, you can define way up here if you like. Let valid session. It should return a hash, right? In that hash, you should say user ID is. You can actually put Adam ID in there. Does that make sense? So then your code is harder for the people who come here for the first time to read, but it's easier for you to maintain. So it depends on your usage, right? If it's a small controller, maybe you don't like to refactor too much. Now, do you guys understand why yesterday the generated code behaved like that? All right, let's look at the edit action. What can we test? I will test return a successful response. So it's very similar to this. Now I need Adam to exist, right? So you could put the word Adam here to run that code. If you don't, it will go into valid session, it will run it, it's okay. So then I log in as Adam and I go into my profile edit page. And then I just make sure that this page works. Let's test this, right? I'm not sure in real life when you click this here, this is the profile page, right? That is the page I'm testing. Right? Where is it? Here, user control edit here. Profile page, yeah? So let's see if I can test it with my RSpec. RSpec, spec/controller/users controller. You can even tell it what line to run, but it's okay, we don't need it. So line 27, we right here. What's going on? I need, here is, this test is failing because it's line 27 here. It thinks that it should be Adam and Bob. Right, this test is failing right now. Right. In this, if you confused about anything, don't be shy to ask, okay? We just troubleshooting together. I have one test failure. I have to just tell myself, okay, one test failure, right? Where's the test failure? Line 24. That normally tells you the test, and that's the it line. But exactly where you have to read more inside this do end block. So I scroll up and I read, all right. This is the special syntax to test the at users variables. So you will see more of it very soon. So it's saying expected this to be Adam and Bob, but this is only Adam. Okay? And then I have Bob here. That's kind of weird. Bob is created first. Adam's here. You know, if I did not add Bob, I think my test passed, right? This is a list of users. Let me just test that first. Everything passed. Somehow, if I have Bob, so I have two users, you can even say expect user. I need to write the word Adam here so it runs the Adam code. Expect user.count to equal what? You're just checking if we're asleep. Nice try. And then we'll see if this works, right? I have two users and I'm going to log in as Adam. Why? valid session has Adam ID here, okay? So then when I go to this page, I am logged in as Adam, I should see line 27. I should see the listed users is, I think this worked now. All right, let's try it. Could anyone guess why we failed earlier? It's a bit tricky. So earlier, if I don't do this Adam thing, it doesn't execute Adam. So then this index, actually when index happened, it doesn't know about Adam. Even though, yeah, this is running over here. So it's a bit of dark magic there. I expect the session here to load Adam first, and etc. But just do this. To be extra sure, you have the first user and second user. This just means that, hey, call the Adam guy up there. I want to have Adam here right now.
You just write it like that, just Adam.
Yeah, right? I mean, this is line of code. If you can call, Adam.name, or anything, right? And then you create a second user. This looks good. And you know that in this order. If you want to display the user in a different order, like in your user controller, user.all, but you want the people who created at the newest user first, then you can say this is the order. So Bob is created after Adam, so I should see Bob first. So now the test will fail. And in this case, this is, sometimes I don't really know Rails, I'm sorry. All right. Yeah? That is how you order something, right? And here is like, hey dude, expecting Adam Bob and you're getting Bob Adam because Adam is created. Okay, fine. I will, technically I put Bob Adam because we display latest, newest users first. Yeah. Okay. It's a bit tricky, huh? Computer is very fast. So these two guys actually have like the same created time, but that's a whole different topic. Full? Looks good? Okay. No, wait. How do we update the test coverage? So after you run rspec, every time the test is run, this CirclCI tool will run. So let me show you where the code is. In this spec helper, it's quite cool. Before every time you run a test, this guy will just say, hey, CirclCI, please update. And when it updates this. It updates the coverage folder here. Now in a real project, you don't want to commit this folder in a big project because it changes all the time and all this extra data. But in our homework, please commit this folder. What did I just say? What folder? What name is it? What's the name of the folder? No, coverage. Good try though. So this is the folder, and in this folder, the cool thing you get is this index.html. That is the file. This is the file that now I just updated. I'm gonna go to the users controller for you guys to see. Did you see that I improved from 50% to 55%? Here was the old result, okay? Alright, this is what I did. I covered 10 lines of code, right? But what I did is, oh my god. Yes! Right? No, it is true, right? I have this line now tested. Do you see the green color? Yeah. Let's try one more time. Look at that. I just add one more test that covers this. Hey, it's significant. But if it still say, dude, you never tested this user creation. How do you test that? I'm not gonna write it. because you will fall asleep right away. Because I have index here, edit here. But just to give you a taste, that it will look like this: describe, post, create, do, and then I will say something like it can create user, right?
Yeah.
And then here you actually post params. You post to create. Oh, create. Params will be some user param, like this name is Kui, right? Email is q@monster.inc. Password is scary cookie or monster cookie. So then now you can test it. Now when you get stuck, you're like, I actually still don't understand RSpec. I don't know how to test it. What did we do yesterday that may help you? This thing, right? Create a new project, generate a scaffold, and I'm going to go. Bear with me. Come here. Look. It's fun. All right. So don't give up on me. So I'm opening the other project, which is this LearnSpec project, and I will learn how they test the controller. Okay. We generated the scaffold. So look into this controller, and you can see it's quite beautifully tested. Now, you don't have to define so many of these things. You can use it right there. Now you guys understand, right? You can just write this yourself. But sometimes as you write code and you want to share it, you move it out. Next, this is how you do the create action. And it's a bit strange. I'm going to explain this a little bit. You use expect already. What you have learned so far is only expect something in here. You can use put a variable or a variable dot method to something, right? To equal 1, for example. This is a new syntax. When you expect some curly braces here, this blah thing, when you run expect like this, Rails will run this code. For example, expect time.now to equal 2017. Okay, pay attention to this one, alright? When you write this code, time.now is run when Rails load your code. Okay, Rails will scan your code and then read it. Okay, time.now. It will run it. When you do this, it will not run until your test is run. And here is the block of code that say, hey, I'm calling this code. And when this code, I will keep track of it, the post.count, the value before I run this code, and then the post.count after I run this code. And the difference should be 1. So this test takes a little bit of extra skill to write. Here's how you write it without all this extra skill. Would someone like to try? Lo, you want to try?
A equals post.count.
All right, A equal post.count.
Did we create a post?
Simple way, right? Huh? And then you create a post, all right? So you say this. And then?
We
Expect.
Well, okay, so now we have to store B underneath post. B equals post.count again.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, so now we do expect A to.
Like that.
It's even better. No.
So that's the same, right?
B minus A.
Yeah? Of course, in this case, some people will be like, I don't even need AB because I have nothing else in here. I expect post.count to equal 0. And then after I do this, I expect post.count to equal 1. That works? But because we do this a lot, and we don't want to worry about the value before and after, therefore you say I put expect this whole thing in a block like that, and then you say to change. What you want to change is say post.count, but you don't want this post.count to run immediately. Like you want to run it before and after. That's why you actually expecting this one to change this block by 1. So that's another syntax. But this is very hard to read and remember. It sounds like, oh, I have to be really advanced in Ruby to do it. So Rails give you another way. Change a.b like that. So you change the property of an object. But if you write this, this works as well. So for example, if you have a method that will count active users, something like that, you define it yourself. You can call that. Okay. Some people don't like to write this way. Your test can be as simple as this, guys. Right? Post. There are many ways to write test. Okay. Invalid attribute here will be, you know, maybe here title is badass. Alright? What do you expect? Expect this to finish successfully, so you can say the last post I just created dot title to equal badass. This is still a good test. It's all the same. So it's trying to get an idea of different ways to write your test. Is that okay?
If you run a test on, you know how earlier you were talking about light green and dark green?
Huh?
You know how earlier you were talking about light green and dark green?
Yeah.
So if you wrote the same test about like count, would that increase the code coverage percentage?
No, because it's just checking the line. Just checking this line. There's no user account here. How many times you run in the, you know, the post account there? It's not using this one. If you have a method called count in the user model, it may make it more green, maybe.
No, but I mean, you see how right now the percentage is 55% covered. So if you write a test, multiple expectations that hit the same action,
sure.
Would the coverage be higher?
Yes, but what we just did doesn't increase the coverage for that. You can only increase the coverage for this if you call post twice. So this is one, you call it once, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, so you know how earlier we did the count one, and then we do this, now we do the last title. We do both of them, and
The line that decide would this increase or not, Lloyd, is this line.
yeah.
So if you only call this once, it only run this users create once. So your question just now about this one, then it will not affect anything.
I feel like don't we have two creates right there, two tests?
Where?
Create action?
Of course, yeah. So in this case, if you have create one test here and create another test here, then it will darken the def create line. It will not darken the stuff in here if you get redirected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, what I'm asking though, let's just pretend the create action, or the test covers the entire create, right? And we wrote it twice. That one line that right now it only hits one line. But
Oh, so are you saying you just say 2.times, like run it twice like this?
No, you go back to your browser. Let's pretend this test covers all this right here, right? Then we run two tests that test the exact same thing right here. Will this go up higher?
Oh, I don't think so. Okay, thank you. That's a good question. Awesome. I think it does. I think it just, you know, for example here, I think it's just counting the lines between red and green. So you see that 59%, you know, this is because of, you know, 55% because 11 divided by 20 is 55. So you can make these lines more green than, you know, darker green than normal, but it doesn't improve this.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just to me it seems like if you test it multiple times, right, that is better coverage, right? But we actually thoroughly tested it.
It's
right?
not really better coverage. You're not covering anything more. Users have more tests. It means maybe it's better. Like, you know, if I'm cooking the same dish, I may be a better chef, yes, but I'm not covering more dishes, right? It doesn't mean that I can cook more than one dish. There's no need for that kind of percentage, though. You can see the green color, that's fine. The goal is to cover different scenarios. Yeah. You're right. So it's just keeping things simple, really. You know, there may be better tools there are tools that will try to run your test with random data and try to break your app. That's when, for example, you run this create action with a billion different user email address and all this. It's possible, so you can do that. It can generate that. Yeah?
Also,
Huh? Why? Exactly. If you don't like change, you can do what I just explained. You can do the, you know, this is one way, or you can say, for example, expect, you know, here, the change thing, post.count to equal, you know, a+1, for example, right? You don't need change, but then you do have to write more code. So it's all about expressiveness. It's all about like whether this, what suits you. When you become more proficient with Ruby, then you appreciate change even more. So just natural thinking. Like, I'm writing a test. I go and create a new user and it's successful. What should I test? Did I increase the user count by 1? That sounds like a very good test, no? So that's why they write it that way. It doesn't mean you have to write it that way. You can say, before this I only have Adam. Now I create Adam, Bob. So the list of users should be Adam and Bob. It's another test that works. Okay. Yes, if you have some before block here, and then here you create a bunch of users, then good luck. Then you shouldn't just expect this to be 0. Sure, but in this case the test also is not broken because I am not checking this to be 0. Now, in a bigger app, this still can break because many tests can run at the same time. So the change thing is quite nice that it will wrap up the whole thing and it can help protect your test a little bit better. But you guys just don't care about that. Okay? So test is dry, but it's extremely useful. If you can understand this stuff, it makes you automatically a much better, programmer. So just every week now, no excuse. Always try to have at least one test in your project. Now you will fork from my repo, so I would like you guys to also submit something called pull request. Raise your hand if you already know what a pull request is. So most people don't know, right? The idea is this, right? We always have one default branch. And for example, I have a lecture 1 branch. And the default branch, you want to keep the most stable code. Someone else create some code and push it to the master. Let's say I have this branch right here. Okay, you see my default branch. I don't have the test properly set up, so there's a cross there. It means the test failed. So I have this this branch which is 9 commits more than my default branch. Now I want to merge into my default branch. Okay, so then I click on this. That now allow you to create a pull request. So it's similar to your git commit, but except this time you write one that explains many of your commits. There's also a title and a body. So it's like writing an email to someone. Hey, can you take a look at my work and merge? Now here's a few cool things. Git check. So when let's say I'm gonna create this pull request here. Yeah. I'm going to create one for lecture 2 stuff.
behind calling it a pull request? Because it seems counterintuitive. Pull request. Like, I'm not actually asking to pull any code from you. I think I'm actually like asking to put something to you.
Yeah, so pull request means, right, it's just, people come up with a name. So now we have to try to come up with a way to remember this name. And Oscar creates a pull request on this project. All right, it means Oscar wants me to pull his changes. So I will merge and then I will pull that.
Oh, so you're
So the owner of the repository is going to pull yours. So you're requesting a pull request. So it's like a change request, right? So you let's say you open a change request. What does it mean? You're requesting me to change. A pull request, you're requesting me to
accept it.
to pull, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was very.
It's just a name, yeah, exactly. It could be a little strange. And so, for example, here, this is the default post Git branch, and then this is the head of, this is your work. Okay, Oscar's work is here, for example. Harley's work is here, and now Oscar wants Harley to merge his work. So we'll be like, Oscar will be like, hey Harley, check this out, right? And then you say, he did this. What did I do? Oh, I add trestle. This is pretty much what we did yesterday, right? Lecture 2 start compared to lecture 1 start. Let's, anything else? Add rspec to this repository. Yeah, a few more tests, right? For example, and then you create this pull request. All right. Now you can keep some of them as open, and you can check them as you finish. This is like checkable and removable. So you see that, and so it's quite cool because you can create a pull request even when you're not ready, and then you push more commits, and then you can make changes. So, for example, I just push one more commit, and I just say add a free test. In fact, I have CirclCI already here, so. For example, I can say, oh, actually, I forgot. I also have CirclCI.
So any changes I push to that branch will be
Exactly.
included in that.
If you keep pushing to this branch, Git will auto update, and then you see this pull request. You see it up here in the list of commits. Now, Oscar just submitted a pull request. What should I do? No.
Yeah, no.
I cannot just trust him blindly like that. I should go and review. Okay? So here is the beautiful thing where you can click on anything, and then you can start a review. And in this, you can add more, a lot of this review, add a lot of comments, and after it's all done, then I can just hit one thing, and then my 10 reviews will go back to Oscar. So I have done this Git review way to you guys. You've seen it. It's how I review your passcode. Some of you got this. So actually, I don't want this thing anymore. How do I cancel my review? That is. How do I cancel it? Here. Oh my God. How do I cancel my review? Oh no, it's not submitted yet. All right, so I can keep reviewing like this, and then look through it and see if there's any changes. Okay. Cancel review. Oh come on! How do I cancel these things? Oh yes, thank you. All right. This is very crucial, and it's ironic. Ian actually asked me about this to show this and stuff, but he's not here today. Now here's another cool thing where you see, oh actually this is not good. This one doesn't, both of these commits don't have their CirclCI integration yet. If I create another pull request with that one, the practice one, I'm going to create another pull request for you guys to see. This is the pull request here. You can have more than one pull request. This is one, right? I'm going to show you a pull request with CirclCI, this branch. This one. It has circuits. You see the tick, right? The other one didn't have a tick. So let's create that. So if a test fails, you cannot merge it. You see how this all checks have passed? And then this check is basically CirclCI test. Your test pass. And it's really beautiful because you could be doing tests on different platforms. Okay? You may set up something that tests your Rails server with some iOS simulator somewhere. Right now, I'm just testing my Rails application on CirclCI. And it seems to work. I click on details. It takes me to the place where my test is built. You see how all of this is tightly linked? It's just fantastic. You go in here, go down, you can see how they set up your code, right? They run the database, they run the test. Where's the test aspect? You see it? And you click here, you can see exactly what tests get run and how many of them pass. If there's an error, it will show you exactly this, and they send you an email. So you see it on your phone, you automatically jump to your computer, and I need to fix this. Or a million users will cry. Alright? And it's also really powerful. If a test fails, they keep the server for you. You can even go into that server, log into that server and check. If a test passes, then they just disconnect and it's all done. This concept is extremely powerful because in this day and age, just that easy. In the past, it's really hard. Like, oh, how does it fail? Like, how do I reproduce this case when this fails? Okay? All right. So that's the first part of today. This will be self-explanatory. Just follow the milestone. When I deploy to Heroku now, when I push to the branch on GitHub, you see what happened. It automatically deployed to Heroku. And when it finished deploying to Heroku, it automatically sent me a message on Slack. So my team knows. Here's the proof. So you guys will have to do the same thing. Go into Slack integration, customize Slack here, and add your integration, Heroku integration. So every time you push to your own Heroku, you just send this, and you can get the list of commits that you did. It just shows you the new commits that have been deployed. You see, that's why your messages are very important, right? It will help you see what get deployed to Heroku, to production. Okay? So, do this part. Do more aspect work. Work on your branch. Yeah, remember this is your repo. Using this one. This is using your fork, okay, repo. And then when you create a pull request, you will create a pull request on top of my repo. So for example here, fork, here's a fork. I'm gonna pick any one of you here. I'm gonna pick, let's say, Ruby is one. Okay. So let's say you have this branch. So this is the branch. You keep working today. Go here and create a new branch and start working. What is the branch name here? Create a new branch here and start working. But when you're done, you can create a new pull request. You can choose your branch. Here's your branch. Let's say you will choose your lab 6.2 branch. And you can try to make a pull request on top of my branch. So you should do it, You can choose anything here. It's just an exercise. And create a pull request. Alright? It's very powerful. You don't have access to my Coder School repository, but you can tell me to pull all of your suggested changes back into my thing, right? My Coder School repository, and future classes can enjoy, for example. All right. File uploading is the second half of this class. I'll explain, similar to admin frameworks. There's so many ways to handle file uploads, and there's so many good frameworks that I just have to explain to you guys the differences and when to choose what. And of course, if you only have to choose one, exactly what you should choose. All right, enjoy.